Stirring the coffee with chopsticks using the vortex method, the only true way to optimize the taste of your coffee at the molecular level. Good morning. Welcome to the Daybreak Show. I am the Sultan. We'll get started, but first, coffee. Nice.
Nice.
Ethiopian. It's an early day today. Made some pour through coffee. It's exactly 4:29 right now. I'm feeling good. I've been up since 4:01. So I'm still waking up a little bit. October 7th. Love this phrase from Dr. Karen Kellick from the other night. I like watching World War II documentaries to see what people are supposed to look like. The men were handsome and strong, and the women were thin and pretty. There's a lot of sound bites that are going to come out of that. A lot of clips. How about this one? I love men. I admire how they know what everything is at Home Depot. How they can do things I can't. How they see things differently. It's the birds and the bees in action. Brilliant stuff, right? Relax. Don't worry. You can start tomorrow. Satan has that message for you. Start tomorrow. How many times have you listened to Satan on that one? Start tomorrow. The talk the other night with Dr. Karen was what the bleep happened to men and women. Here's what the bleep happened to men. I talk about stuff like this and more in my daily free Unstuck newsletter. Well, almost daily free Unstuck newsletter that you can get at georgebruno.com. When I look at how people aspired, the artwork, I'm not saying mannequins are art, but when I look at Greek statues, how men are supposed to be, when I look at male mannequins in stores, they now have mannequins with dad bods. Did you hear me? Remember when mannequins were just thin and basically just to display clothes? Now they actually have mannequins with bellies, chests that are kind of like sunken in, man boobs, skinny arms. What the heck happened to men? Probably wouldn't hurt to join a serious bodybuilding gym for a few months. Let's just say October, November, December. Work out, observe, take mental notes, listen. You might end up with an annual membership. If it's true that you are the average of the 5 people that you associate with on a regular basis, online or in person, then your future is looking pretty bright if you go to a gym where people are working on their bodies. Now, I'm not talking about the hamsters on the treadmills at Planet Fatness. I'm not talking about those. I'm not talking about that. Now, that's not to say that there aren't fit, in shape people at the $10 a month gym. What I'm saying is that if you go to a place where the sole purpose is to build, and you hang around those people, and you look at their attitude and their dedication in life, know that that dedication and that discipline spills over into other areas of their life. I will tell you this. I have not met a lot of people who are in great shape, who are losers in life. That discipline spills over to sales, to management, to climbing the ladder, wherever you are, to starting new businesses. There's something about being around people who've got their crap together, who are doers and not just talkers. And one of the best places to find them is a bodybuilding gym. A bodybuilding gym. Making $1 million per year is $3,000 a day. A coach asked me once, do I have $3,000 a day habits? It took a whole week for me to stop tossing and turning at night. That question kept me awake at night. Excuse me, coffee's going to get cold if I don't slam this. Oh, that is so good. That is so good. Do you have $3,000 a day habits? Yesterday I had a $3,000 day. Actually more than that, a little bit more. It's a good feeling. It's a very good feeling. But it comes as the result of work. No one's giving me anything. I'm working my ass off. But I'm enjoying myself because I'm doing what I love. I tried a Fitbit, you remember, several years ago. I ended up giving it away after about 3 months. I became obsessed with my daily steps and nightly sleep patterns. I developed a thing called orthosomnia, where you become obsessed with your sleep patterns. Now, I get up earlier than most. I've been in the 4 a.m. club for probably about 5 years now. No TV at night. I work my butt off during the day. I can't stay awake past 8:30 or 9 o'clock. When I do the live broadcasts past, quote unquote, my bedtime, I do not lay in bed. I have insomnia maybe twice a year. Maybe twice a year. But when I start coming in for a landing at about 7:30, and if my head hits the pillow before 8 o'clock, I pretty much am out by 8 to 8:30, gone. Gone. As soon as I turn on the light, gone. And boy, that feels good. It feels good. Now, getting married or partnered up, what will that be like? Because I'm kind of like my father, I tend to like to be the last one to go to sleep at night. You know, you walk around the house, you check the stove, check the doors, make sure lights are on outside, doors are locked, stove is off, that kind of thing. It's going to be weird if I end up with somebody and try to go to bed at 8, unless they go to bed early as well. That would be difficult, I think. Maybe 9 o'clock. Maybe 9 o'clock, and then I'd get up at 4:30 or 5. But 8 to 4, as a solo man right now, perfect. Perfect. So there you have it, gentlemen. I texted, this is probably from 5 years ago. I remember texting several female friends. I don't have female friends like buddies. I have friendly acquaintances. I remember texting Chrissy saying, what does masculinity mean to you? Her exact answer is strong in mind and body, a quiet sex appeal, a real self-assured stallion, hunk of a man. There you have it, gentlemen. Masculinity. It's not a mystery. And now there's shows called What is a Man? What the actual blank is going on in society today? What is going on? You heard about the pipe smokers' laws, right? Let me make that a little bit larger. These are the pipe smokers' laws. Number 1, if the purpose of your gathering is in part or in whole the use and consumption of tobacco, any tobacco product or accessory on the table may be used by anyone in attendance. A smoker uses another's tobacco need not ask permission, but must offer a commentary on the blend. Pipes are excluded from general use, though. They may be fondled and ogled at any time, again, with commentary. Anyone given a standing offer to help himself or herself. I like more of the himself stuff. I believe like pipe smoking groups should be men. I don't want to join a pipe smoking group that has women in it. That's just me. I love me some women. I just don't want them in my pipe smoking group. Anyone given a standing order to help himself to a friend's tobacco need never ask for permission. However, it is still necessary to acknowledge the taking of said tobacco. A simple "I stole a cigar" shall suffice. Number 3, matches and lighters should be shared without hesitation. But a smoker should only hold the lighter while lighting for a member of the opposite sex. Yeah, dude. Do not hold a lighter for another guy. No. But then again, if you don't have women in the group, there's nothing to worry about. I had to tap out of some smokers, pipe smoking groups, just because like guys would bring their girlfriends in or wives or something. And I'm like, isn't there any places that are just men's spaces? Not only are women trying to invade men's spaces, but you got these betas inviting their girlfriends and wives in. Stop it, dude. Stop it. Do you need mommy's permission to smoke a pipe? Just stop it. It's okay to hang out with just men. You're not gay. It's okay. God. Corn cobs are pipes, unless they're from China. They are the worst. It is not acceptable, number 5, to show off a new pipe and brag about how much you spent on it or how impressive a pipe you can afford. The exception occurs if the pipe purchase causes your divorce. Then anything goes. You may also tell others the price you told your wife, what you paid for it. Number 6, it is acceptable to encourage PAD, pipe acquisition disorder, or TAD, tobacco acquisition disorder, which I have. Such compulsive purchases may never be discouraged. In a pipe smoking group, you're never going to see a guy like tell another guy, you should really slow down on that pipe purchasing stuff. And don't you think you have enough tobacco already? Those are words that you'll never hear in a pipe smoking group. Number 7, pipes and cigars may be used as pointers to enhance a discussion or monologue or in physical expression of general pontification, but they may never be used as swords. Number 8, smokers should make a good faith effort to use tobacco away from non-smokers, but if someone pretends to cough, the smoker is allowed to pretend to ignore the cougher. This is doubly true if the tobacco is unlit, in which case the smoker may blow pretend smoke in the cougher's face. I don't know who made this list, but it's pretty funny. Number 9, any pipe or cigar smoker living within 50 miles of a locally owned tobacconist specializing in his or her tobacco of choice must patronize that business at least 4 times a year. Within 10 miles, it shall be monthly at a minimum. Any smoker insisting others use a high-end product, be it a pipe, cigar, or tobacco or accessory, should supply it. Anyone not willing to buy his friends a Dunhill needs to keep quiet about them. Number 11, when it comes to tobacco-fueled social gatherings, if it's not a lie, it's not worth telling. Number 12, you can make fun of someone who is sending you free tobacco, but you shouldn't if you want that to continue. Among the group, number 13, the person who smokes a pipe, wears glasses, and has a beard is, by default, the smartest and most reliable person in the room. If more than one person fits this description, seniority will be determined by the highest percentage of naturally bald scalp. Well, the hair is getting thinner and going back a little further every year, so I'm not there yet. And if that does happen, then I go bald. That's just the way it is. Then the clippers come out, zzz, and the razor. Then the razor comes out. I forgot my Psycho razor here. I'll show you my Psycho razor. And number 14. You can smoke a pipe, yet not be a pipe smoker. You must elicit the accompanying and misleading sense. You must not elicit the accompanying and misleading sense of wisdom to be accepted as such. Those are the pipe smoker's laws. This is a double-edged razor. That's the top of it. This is the key for it. This is a double-edged razor where its main use, it was made in 1961, I believe, for like prisons and mental institutions. You'd put the blade in there, put the double-edged blade in there, you put the top on, then you take the key and you lock it on. You turn it like this. Tighten it, take the key out. Now that goes on a key ring. Now the blade can't be taken out of there and be used to kill yourself or someone else. This had been affectionately called the Psycho razor. The Psycho razor because it was designed for prisons and mental institutions. This is history right here. Anyways, I used this to clean the back of my neck the other day. So I remember someone saying to me, this is years ago, do you miss your wife? And I said, what I really miss about her is her cleaning up the back of my neck. I mean, I got really furry back there after a few months when we first split up. This was many, many years ago. And, you know, a typical guy would say, hey, honey, can you get the back of my neck? And she'd come by and clean up the back of your neck. And you just kind of do that maybe once a month. I remember after about 3 months getting very hairy, and I'm like, all right, I got to work this out. So I grab a mirror, I stand in front of the mirror, turn around, and I'm like, you know, trying to clean up the back of my neck. That's the beautiful thing about having a wife, is that she can clean up the back of your neck, amongst other things. When I see a guy with a hairy neck, the back of his neck, first thing I think is he's probably separated, divorced, or an incel. No hate on incels at all. I'm not quite king of the incels, but I will tell you that I do have a preference for the intellects of guys that let their, how can I put it, let their creativity out in other ways. You know what's irritating is being around like playboys. Being, you know, nothing worse than being around a group of guys that are all getting laid all the time and talking about it. Like, really? Is that all you do? Like, don't you create anything? Don't your creative juices get used for anything else other than sticking it in a woman? I jokingly texted 5 women I know, make me a sandwich, please. 4 responses were something like, make your own damn sandwich. 1 replied, white, wheat, or rye. That's wife material right there. Did you ever thank God for closed doors or unanswered prayers? We'd all be dead if we got everything that we ever prayed for. Isn't that the truth, right? How do you break a spell? And I'm not talking about a actual magical black magic spell. Talking about if you're obsessed with somebody. How do you break that spell? If you're in a relationship, you break up, but you can't get that person off your mind. How do you do that? I used to say, go and spend time with another person, and that helps minimize the nagging memory person in your head, kind of diminish over time. How do you break a spell? Let me ask you this. How do you break a spell? Guys, how do you break a spell with a woman without having sex with another woman? How do you do that? Takes longer though, right? There's no quicker way to get out of your head, get that obsession out of your head than to be with another woman, and I'm certainly not advocating that. I don't want to advocate stuff like that. Revolving doors on the bedroom and that type of thing. How do you do that? Well, one of the ways is right there. Prayer. A prayer rope. A rosary. A praying without ceasing. Exercising. How do you get that stuff out of your head? It takes time and it's hard. It's difficult. I'm not going to say it's easy. Going through a breakup is hard. And to be able to break the spell that someone has over you will be one of the biggest challenges. And as you men look back on your life, you will see the spells that you had cast on you and how hard they were to break. Here's a case in point, something personal. If you date a woman, let's just say you go out a few times, 3, 4, 5 times, and there's no physical affection, but you have dates or spend time with each other, and you don't get to the point where you are physical with each other, and she tells you she doesn't think that you're the one, she doesn't feel it, the chemistry isn't there, blah, 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 blah. You know, the usual bullshit. You're a little disappointed, but you move on. It's next. However, let's say you spend some time with somebody. In that time, there's some loving, hugging, kissing. What's the Journey song? Loving, touching, squeezing, right? And that happens, then I don't want to say it hurts more, but it makes you stop and you feel it more. You're not as quick to say next. Why is that? Because sexual activity was created, literally, by our Creator to make us closer. It wasn't meant to be just like opening up a can, making coffee. It's not just another activity. It's something that's meant, it incentivizes people to come together. And once you've come together in that way, I don't know, Scripture talks about two becoming one. And it's not just because of a volitional act, but sexuality literally makes people one. That's why divorce hurts so much, right? If marriage is the two become one, then divorce is the one becoming two again. There's a tearing. Sex is a melting together. Try melting 2 candles or crayons together, and then try separating them. You can't separate them without doing damage to both. And that's what divorce does. It's harder. So how can we be serial to becoming oneers? What do you have to suppress? Now, if sex is created to make us become closer, but yet we've had sex with many, many, many partners, we've become one with many partners. And when we break up, there's a little bit of tearing. And of course, like anything else, that is painful. You're experiencing a oneness, a tearing, a oneness, a tearing, a oneness and a tearing. This is why we are so messed up emotionally and psychologically as human beings. We have like this schizophrenic way of dealing with things. This is why people's smells remind us of something. I've told men in the past, you don't miss her, you miss her body. You don't miss the way that she makes you a sandwich. You might miss a sense of humor, but there's senses of humor everywhere. What you miss is the vision of her on top of you, her breasts, her body, her roundness, her curves, the way she feels. That's what you miss, and that's what you are trying to replace. And the lack of that in your life is what is causing confusion and melancholy, because something pleasurable was taken from your life or removed itself from your life. How do you stop the cycle of oneness, tearing, oneness, tearing, oneness, tearing? How do you stop that cycle? Usually it takes some type of chaotic, traumatic event to kind of slow that shit down. Because we can become irresponsible and reckless with our sexuality. Two people who are getting together rarely fall in love at the same rate, the same velocity, the same intensity. Not everyone is always in love at the same intensity at the same time, or bonding with the same intensity at the same time. I ordered the Diamondback pipe from Missouri Meerschaum. Pretty good smoker. It's got a diamond shank, a diamond ferrule, and a diamond dark amber bit. But the problem is the walls are too thin and it would get hot, uncomfortably hot. And I'm not afraid of a pipe heating up, especially if it's really cold out. But if it's so hot that it's burning your hands, two things. You're either puffing it too much, firing up that ember, or the walls are just too thin. And I found that the walls are too thin. It's basically a corncob pipe that's sanded down into a panel pipe, flat sides. So what I did was I ended up taking that bowl off and putting on the bowl of an older country gentleman pipe, which has very thick walls, and I created a perfect pipe. Perfect. There's a picture of it. So if you're into modifying pipes, that is a great mod project for you. A great project. I help men crush it on a daily basis. Drew Matthews says, I just launched my course on how to start a furniture restoration business from your garage, driveway, or shed. I went from 0 to 6 figures in the second year restoring antiques and want to share the knowledge now on year 5. This channel, specifically the Daybreak Show, helped me grow as a man and shoot for my dreams and make it happen. Helped me get unstuck for sure. Thank you, George. That's what the Daybreak Show does. That's what my social media does. I'm not putting people down. This is not a critique show. If you are watching my show and you are not inspired to get your body in shape, get your bank account in shape, sharpen your skills, maybe break away from that Monday through Friday job, then I am not doing my job. That is the pivot that I have made with my social media. You must be a better person after spending a few minutes with me. If you are not a better person, make new decisions for direction in your life. If you're not inspired to get up and move after you press stop after you put your phone down, then I have not done my job. That's the pivot that we made on this channel here. Which leads me to a tweet that I put down on October 5th. Go ahead, make a pivot and change directions. Nothing is irreversible. People say to me often in coaching, well, should I do this or should I do that? And I say, well, try it. If it doesn't work, you can stop and try something else. Nothing is irreversible. Nothing. Just remember that. Is it time to bail on that relationship? Did she cheat or do you expect it? Are you trying to revive something that's long dead? It might be time for a coach who can help you with that. Save the man, not the marriage is one of my slogans. It's going to be a few month process, maybe 3 to 4 months. But you can do it. I've helped men leave relationships. Do you need to leave? I can help you with that. And with that, finish your coffee. And I'll see you on the next Daybreak Show, your home of sanity, clarity, and reason.
Then obviously the butt is even bigger. But it's kind of, they make it like a fetish almost, nowadays. So they are proud of those big butts because a lot of men love those big butts, So it's like a fetish thing right now, and it's just, and they are kind of, I think that they feel they're proud of those big butts, a lot of them. So they're not really thinking about losing weight and, that how unhealthy it is. They're just happy because they have the attention, and they love the attention, Women love attention, as you've noticed. They need this boost. They crave this attention even more to make them feel better. They have, a lot of them have low self-esteem. And this is like, they hide it because they get very aggressive. So you think that they're so confident, and I think they are really not inside.
Hi, my name is Erin. I use she, her pronouns, and I am a